All right, so good evening. Happy Hump Day, Wednesday. If you're in Perth, it's a little bit chilly, but hopefully you're rugged up, grabbed a cuppa if you want to have one, and you're comfy and ready to get stuck into an hour or so of power sharing. And without a doubt, I believe that you're going to walk away with some great ideas, definitely at least one new one that you feel that you can apply into your health and your lifestyle and your journey, wherever that might be at the moment. So my name is Carla Thomas, and I am a holistic counsellor and lifestyle coach. I am a passion nutrition educator with the Juice Plus company. I am also an expert on the I Quit Sugar program, and I'm an ex-professional dancer. So it's a little bit about me. I am a mum to two fur babies myself. I am a wife to an amazing husband, Byron Shammer. So yes, sometimes you might see my name pop up like that. However, I like to keep Thomas still for the old work stuff. And the purpose of tonight really was a chance for me to be able to share the things that I have found have made a real difference in my health over the years, and still continue to today, just by implementing these basic principles on a consistent basis, really. And it's nothing too complicated at all. In fact, you're probably going to be like, really, is that it? But in all honesty, it is just these few things that, if done on a daily basis, can keep me from losing my sanity, can keep me from feeling down, can keep me from feeling unmotivated, can keep me from feeling unhappy, really. So how my health journey came about, for those who might not know, if you do want to get the whole shindig story, and I promise it's not too long, you can always pop into my website, which is www.carlathomas.com.au. But really, it all started in my teens, when I started to develop issues in my body image and started playing around with dieting, and then it was cases of bulimia, and then when I had to go on overseas after school for a little while to work at Disney, it went the other way around, and it became a case of not quite full-blown anorexia, but definitely a case of excessive exercise, controlled eating. This all stemmed from, I guess, just in comparisons, being a dancer and always worrying about how you look. I'd also started to develop anxiety and panic attacks in my last year of school at 17, which kind of seemed to have come out of nowhere. But that's never the case, as we know. There was obviously probably a lot leading up to that. And I was placed on anti-anxiety and antidepressant medication, and away we went. However, nothing else was really addressed in my diet, in my lifestyle, and what was going on. It was more a case of, here you go, this should fix it. And I don't know if anyone can relate, if you've ever been told anything before, and it's it runs in the family, so you just assume it's normal and move on. So that's what I just thought. And it was really on and off, being up and down a lot of the time through those late teens, early 20s, on and off medication. I guess never really knowing if I was going to be in a good space that day or a bad space, depending a lot on external factors. I don't know if anyone's ever felt like that before, but really it's what's going on in your outside world that determines whether you're happy or not, rather than being in a good, solid place on the inside. That was very much the case of me. If one thing went down in the external world, then I went down. This went on, as I said, for a few years, and I hit a point when I was about 22, and I really was just like, is this it? Is this what's going to be my life all the time? Am I never going to feel 100% healthy, 100% happy, 100% content in who I am? And it was around that time that I had been working part-time at a gym at front of house. And there was a trainer there who was very ahead of his time. I know now we're very about holistic health and going back to paleo and the basics and fundamentals of health and nutrition. But at that time, those types of principles that he was placing in exercise, in nutrition, in things like fermented foods, for example, and coconut oil, and all of that was just a little bit, it was quite foreign, and I found it really intriguing, and I was learning a lot from him. So that sort of started to drift my what's the word I'm looking for? My interest, I suppose, into the whole, food heals approach. And also I had been working with, and many of you would know her now, Natalie Baldock. She's a very, very well-renowned speaker through WA and Australia, and a great friend of mine, and we're very much kind of, I guess, going through health journeys and starting them together. And she invited me to a wellness evening, and I had the pleasure of listening to an ex-Ironman. I really talk passionately, very, very passionately about the power of plants, power of whole food nutrition, and explain it in a way that I'd never heard it before, and in a way that finally really made sense to me. And, in the way I was asking myself, why hadn't anybody ever said this to me before? I don't know if you've ever had those kind of eureka moments and you just think, oh God, it's so simple. Why didn't I just get that? So I think that was about November 2009. It's really where my own health journey and then my studies and coaching and everything began. So during this time of really just figuring out what true health was, I think there was no sort of right way. It was definitely trial and error, but a lot of it was just steps at a time, and it was looking at things outside the obvious. We tend to think health is just about nutrition and exercise, and it's so much more than that. We also think of health a lot of the time on the physical aspect instead of really realizing it's a mind state as well, and the two connected. So I started to see that in a consistent practice of certain rituals, there was a pattern in that it was leading to me starting to cope with life better, starting to feel better, and cope with stress a lot better, and just be able to sort of get by and get past these feelings of anxiety and unhappiness I had been feeling for so long. And I also started to notice that if I ignored some of these rituals, those struggles would start to come back and life seemed a bit harder. So really, I kind of figured out, and hopefully you might see this too, that there is no secret. I think we're always looking for that one thing, that one secret that's going to fix and solve everything when it's really non-existent. But it's about having a holistic view and seeing that it's an assimilation of many small things adding up to create a huge difference. Okay, so, it's all a part of what I like to call the circle of balance. All right, so everything plays its part in that circle of happiness on both the mind and body level. The purpose behind the call again tonight was that I get asked so often, what it is that's important to health and what are my rituals and what do I do to seem so vibrant and healthy and happy all the time. So I thought, well, you know what, why don't I just get online and share them? Because there's no point me keeping them, just to myself or just to my clients. And I know a lot of you have probably come on board tonight because you are part of the GC movement and saw the call on there. So I wanted to offer you invaluable insights and tools that, as I said, you can feel inspired by and maybe want to start implementing, one, if not all of them into your day as well and see a difference in your health, as I've seen in mine and many others that I work and coach with. So let's get started and get into it. So really, guys, this is just a raw reflection of me. As I said, this is what I've just noticed has made a difference to me. This is what I notice is helping others. It's nothing massive and too out of the water, but it really is just these consistent rituals in my life that I am seeing help me stay balanced. The first one is, get this, stretching. Who didn't see that one coming? All right. Does anyone like to stretch? Leave a comment. Does anyone always just do they stretch at all? Do they think about stretching more than they actually stretch? Does anyone's fearful of stretching? Think it's just for those crazy yogis? Yeah. So stretching is how I start my day. Really, I get up. First thing I do is head downstairs, chug a big glass of water, which I'll get into in a moment, and I roll out the yoga mat. I get out the foam roller and a few other little errand burns. Love stretching. Good. Love to hear that. And I spend probably about up to 20 minutes in the morning just having a good stretch. Some of that might incorporate some basic yoga moves. Some of it might just be whatever I feel that I need, and that includes rolling it out. But it really awakens the body, you know, like it gets you moving, awake, helps you feel alive, it gets that circulation going through your body, it gets your brain alert, it has breath happening, you know, a lot of the time we breathe really shallow all the time because we're always in a hurry, whereas if you spend some time breathing in the morning, you really give yourself that chance to get that lung expansion and make sure throughout the day that you're getting, you know, as much breath in as possible and as much oxygen into your lungs. It also gets your digestive system going and everything happening. You know, this is a care and share kind of online event tonight, and definitely in our data, I'd say 30 minutes of stretching, I am back on that loop for a nice empty out. So it absolutely helps get everything going. Yeah, I think the other thing too is, you know, a lot of people sit down for their jobs these days, and it's just a really good way, as I said, of awakening the body and helping prevent maybe cramping and irritation. If anyone ever feels that sometimes once you've sat for a few hours, you really just get a little bit uncomfortable. So, you know, it's a really good way of just getting all those niggles out for the day. So that's how I start. And contrary to if I begin with my eyes half shut and half asleep, by the end of that 20 minutes, I'm ready and alert to get into my day. So I really recommend stretching. It's so important as we get older as well for the body. Okay, so to see if anyone's popped anything. I've been told I should, but I don't. Yeah, I think it's really a case of just practice and habit. And we know that habits take 21 to 60 days to start creating. But I tell you, once you do it, it's kind of one of those, oh, why wasn't I doing this all the time? So I think it's just setting that time, be it morning or night when suits. For me, it's definitely the morning because it gets me going. All right, let's move to the second point. So the second one is oil pulling. Pop a comment in the chat section if you've ever heard of oil pulling or oil swishing, or if it's something that you do. Okay, so this is actually something that Sarah Wilson got me started on. Sarah Wilson about the I Quit Sugar program. I remember reading about it. Actually, I'd heard about it for some time, but it was when I finally read on her blog, I was like, okay, I should really get onto this. No idea, Erin. Okay, I'll explain it to you. So basically, oil swishing is just swishing oil, about a teaspoon to a tablespoon, in your mouth for anywhere from 5 minutes to about 20 minutes each day. Now, generally, coconut oil is the way to go. It tastes good. It's a lot nicer to swish around. And it's an ancient Ayurvedic practice, all right? And what it does is actually draws bacteria and toxins out of your mouth. So other positives that can come from it too is it's a natural teeth whitener, not in the sense that it's going to bleach your teeth so they look like Hollywood teeth, but it definitely does help keep them looking brighter. I know I've been complimented on my teeth. I know once my mum started doing it, she picked it up, so did my husband and anyone else I've recommended it to. And it also helps basically stop bad breath. Bad breath is just a form of bad bacteria that's just sitting around. So what I started to notice was I used to feel like I always needed to have mints or chewies in my mouth every few hours. And when I began to oil pull on a regular basis, I just found that I was really not, even after eating, getting bad breath. It wasn't terrible in the mornings like you normally sort of feel. And it's just because my mouth is generally clear of any bacteria at all. So you don't need to swish around like mad like that for 20 minutes or anything like that. Just have it melted, obviously, in your mouth, and every now and again give it a bit of a swish, then give it a gargle at the end. Spit it in a bin, not in your drains, because it will clog them once it goes hard in your sink. Spit it in the bin, then drink water as per usual or brush your teeth. But it's a really good habit to get into. As I said, it's really, really good at just keeping that mouth nice and healthy, whitening teeth, and it's something that I do while I stretch. So I'm multitasking, you know, it can be easily done in that time. So it's great to do it in the morning. Maybe you want to do it while you're having a shower, you know, before you eat, definitely recommended. But I you know, Google more on that if you like, but oil pulling has just been fabulous for me, and it's definitely part of my daily ritual. What else have we got on there? Oh, what is it? Especially with essential oils. Yes, that's another great idea, Marlena. Thank you for that. And yeah, I've done this with coconut oil. It takes so long to get used to. Yep, it does. But after a while, you start to miss it. I remember when I was on holidays and I was just desperate to have some coconut oil so I could oil pull. So, yeah, thank you for those comments, guys. All right, I'm going to get moving on. So the third thing is Juice Plus. Okay, so once I've done that, I get going on my Juice Plus. So I generally, and I'll get onto the water part in a sec, but I like to get my water down in the morning, and this is the best time to do it. So Juice Plus has been a non-negotiable in my life and my husband's, as I said, since 2009. It's an absolutely great product, which has made a difference in my health. It just made sense to me. Fruits, vegetables, berries in a capsule, a great way to bridge that gap between what I know and am aiming for nutritionally every single day, but it's nearly impossible to be able to get on a daily basis, if at all, physically, the variety and the quality of it. And it's definitely what I recommend to all of my clients as a supplement of choice, a whole food supplement versus a synthetic supplement, which is definitely aligned with my holistic beliefs. So it's what helps me function on an optimal level every day. I don't want to just let them function on an okay level. I want to function right up here. I want to be vibrating on that level where people go, oh my God, what is she on? Why are you so full of energy? And that's what it allows me to do. So it's taking a preemptive, proactive approach to my health, and something that can so easily be done every single day. For anyone that's never seen Juice Plus before, here what the bottles look like. Okay, so I get my variety of 30 each day with those. Jamie, yes, I love my Juice Plus. And that's a really easy thing to get done in the morning. They come in a chew form as well. And then I also like to use their plant-based shake product, which is family friendly, and it's not necessarily about a protein, but just an all-round superfood powder. And you know what, it's a good daily supplement that I can trust, especially knowing that it's all scientifically backed. That's really important. People like me and experts can put their name to it and feel safe knowing it's going to be a great product that, we can recommend hand on our heart. So that's been non-negotiable in my life for, what's that now, coming up to 7 years, and nothing will change. So I highly recommend good foundation of whole food nutrition every day in a whole food based supplement, and Juice Plus is the one I go to. Okay, that's definitely part of my daily routine. Moving on, what else have we got? Anything in there? Yes, Jamie, more energy since being on it. Fabulous, absolutely. Thank you for that share. And if anyone else would like to share, if they are on Juice Plus or have looked at it or thinking about it, pop a comment in there, please. All right, so the fourth one is coffee. Yes, but you wouldn't think that I would be recommending coffee as something that can be a great daily ritual or enhancing it. But absolutely, for a long time I was like that. I was the whole, coffee is the enemy. Like if you say that you like coffee, you can't really be into your health. But I think realistically, it's just about making sure that coffee is enhancing your life. It's not a detriment, and that becomes that when you're relying on lots of hits of coffee per day to get your energy boost, then that's not really healthy. But, if you just like to enjoy a cuppa and you find it also helps get you going in the morning, then that's fantastic, and that's when I like to have it. And I think I never really enjoyed it in the past because I never liked getting those caffeine hits. I didn't really like that huge dose of dairy, but when a friend got me onto the idea of bulletproof or paleo coffee, that's when I really found my love of it. So just to give you a brief insight, again, if you Google bulletproof coffee or paleo coffee, you'll be able to find information about it. But really, it's just using the shot, hot water, coconut oil, and butter, and blending it up, and away you go. So you can buy specific bulletproof coffee, so to speak, or I just use a general organic coffee shot. That's fine, or sustainable coffee. You can look at ways to make that. As I said, just Google online. But for me, I really started to enjoy that it was a lot lighter, smoother, and more importantly, the thing with bulletproof coffee or paleo coffee is it actually gives you a sustained amount of energy and alertness, not an up and down as you regularly have with, just a coffee on its own or a coffee at the shops. So, and plus the good fats in there are great for you from coconut oil and the good butter. That's what helps balance everything and, as I said, keep that energy sustained rather than just giving you a high hit and a big low. I like to have it, as I said, in the morning because it just helps me get going before I am about to hit the gym. I enjoy it after my stretch, when I'm checking my emails, writing posts. It just sets me up for the day, and I have that really early in the morning, usually around 7 o'clock or something. So, you know, by the time I'm going to sleep at night, it's not having any effect on me whatsoever. But I do find that can be a really good way of just getting your day started and helping carry you through. So coffee doesn't have to be the enemy, but I don't recommend having any past 2 o'clock if you can help it, and, you know, having no more than 2 per day, because then you're starting to really get on that reliance for it rather than just enjoying what it's about. Just a few chats in there. What have we got? Juice Plus Stream Complete changed my body and life so much. Thank you for that. My Juice Plus and my kids love it too. Kirsty, thank you for that. Anya, where do you buy it? As I said, you can look online about bulletproof coffee. There's a specific brand that you can buy. However, it's something that you can make at home just using whatever ordinary coffee shots that you might like to buy or that you use already as it is. Kirsty, I was a coffee addict. The Juice Plus helped me find a better balance. I love coffee. Yep, absolutely. No one's saying you have to give it all up. It's just about making sure that it's just a small part of your day, not the whole thing. Yeah, and your bulletproof coffee, as I said, you can read about it if you Google on Sarah Wilson Bulletproof Coffee, or just Google online and you can read a little bit more about it. Or feel free to contact me outside of this and I can give you more information. All right, moving right along. If you don't have any more on that, I think someone asked me what time I get up. What time do you wake up each morning? At the moment, it's generally somewhere between 6 and 6:30. Over the summer, I generally wake up about 5 o'clock, and I think that's just natural. I tend to wake up with the sun. And when that's about to start, I like to get my day started earlier. I'm not a night bird. I can be if I have to, but I like to do as we're supposed to and wake with the sun and go to bed and try and be asleep before 10 o'clock, as that's generally when you want to be asleep by. It's when your body starts to do its repair. It's best repaired between 10 a.m. and 4 a.m. So yeah, hope that helps a little bit. Okay, so we better get cracking. Okay, personal development. This is a massive part of my life and has been now for some time. I'm a big believer that if we're not growing, we're shrinking. Okay, we were never meant to stop learning. For a lot of people, they go to spend the beginning of their years going to school, then they get a job, you know, after uni or whatever you've done, and just stop actually educating yourselves on things. And you know, this can be in the work of motivational speakers, this can be via books, this can be via videos, podcasts, YouTubes. Like, we're so lucky, we've got so much at our hands nowadays that we can access whenever we want to and however we want to. So, you know, it's important to grow your mind and work it like a muscle, as you would any other muscle in your body, okay? You know, it's the first person that, you know, you always need to invest in is yourself, okay? So again, events, documentaries, I love TEDx and going online to those. People like Tony Robbins, Robin Sharma, Jim Rohn when it comes to business, you know, Oprah even, you know, they're fantastic sources that when you grow as a person, it makes a difference in every other aspect of your life. So, you know, last night, for example, I spent an hour catching up on a Tony Robbins and Oprah special rather than, you know, watching some TV. Now, what do you think that does for me going to sleep at night with that kind of mindset and waking up the next day? So I like to do it in the morning. Generally, I like to fit out, you know, at least, you know, 10 minutes of personal development somewhere, because what it does is it sets my mindset up for the day. You know what I mean? So it sets my mindset in a good, positive place, you know, with positivity, with goals. You know, I'm focused for the day. I'm ready to go out and make the day happen for me. So, you know, I think sometimes it can be the biggest difference between having a crappy day and having a good day, simply because of how you set that mind up. What have we got here? I listen to podcasts on the way to work. Yep, that's the thing. You can listen to things while you're in the car. Tony Robbins, I Am Not Your Guru. Great flick. That's the new one on Netflix. I'm pretty sure Netflix went into a meltdown when that became available. So absolutely, you know, invest in personal development. It's a huge part of keeping you happy and healthy. Okay, the next one, number 6 that I want to share is breakfast. Breakfast is a non-negotiable for me. I remember in high school, which is generally a time we're not really looking after ourselves too well in the health stakes and nutrition stakes, and breakfast used to be a sausage on the go. It might have been a leftover piece of cake from the night before, or generally nothing. And I remember I'd get to like second period at school and it'd be around like 10 something in the morning and my stomach would just be grumbling and I'd feel sick and I couldn't concentrate. So then at recess I'd go and grab myself a big cheesy. Not the best idea either, but this was all just because I hadn't set myself up for the day with a good breakfast. And many people now, because we're just such creatures of speed and habit and busyness, will still skip breakfast when it's one of the worst things that you can do. So I like to have mine about 2 to 3 hours after waking, and that's only because I have that lifestyle and pleasure of being able to have done my coffee, gone for my workout, come home and then make myself a breakfast, which is usually in the form of a smoothie. I find that that's what really sets me up, and I can load it with a heap of nutrition, including my Juice Plus Complete. And that works for me. Sometimes it might be a hot breakfast, generally on the weekends if it's a bit later, or I love a nourishing breakfast bowl with some chopped fruit, some homemade granola and nuts and seeds and, maybe a bit of coconut yogurt or something. But breakfast has just become a non-negotiable. It should be the biggest meal of your day, actually. And you've got to think about it as brain food. It's not about just feeding your stomach, it's about feeding your brain. Otherwise, what's it supposed to work off for the day and get all of its, focus and energy and nutrition from? So if you are somebody that's, doesn't have time to sit down and eat, that is where shakes and smoothies are really great, because you can just enjoy them while you're doing things and getting ready, and when you're in the car or on the train or bus to work or whatever you're doing. But I encourage you to get organised. If mornings are not the best time for you, then prep stuff the night before. Have things chopped already, or perhaps you've already made a bowl or the smoothie's done so you can just take it with you, and then there's really no excuses. I guarantee you'll notice a difference in your day. Contrary to some belief, it is not going to, skipping breakfast doesn't help you lose weight or cut calories anywhere in the long run, because you just end up more peckish later and you end up making up for it. And I know if I've ever had a day where I haven't had a balanced breakfast or had to, for some reason, miss, I am peckish the whole goddamn day. I'm never satisfied. I just feel off. So breakfast is definitely a non-negotiable, and I really, really encourage you to start doing that and including that if you aren't already. Laura Ward, I love my smoothies for breakfast. Yep, me too. And I think just I stay away from the frozen fruit over the winter. It's a little bit colder in the smoothies, but they are fantastic. And I do encourage you to definitely start getting into breakfast and enjoy it if you can. Register your meal and digest it. Try and enjoy it and not be in a rush if possible. Okay, the next one, movement. All right, so human beings were born to move, okay? I don't know if you've noticed, but we have 2 legs, kind of for a reason, all right? So, and we also have 2 arms, and that's generally to help us coordinate the movement, all right? So, for years we hunted, we gathered, we cooked, we cleaned, we walked. That was all a part of the daily life. And if you go and ever watch, traditional tribes or documentaries, or we see, the ones that still exist that truly live as it was thousands of years ago, like that's what the day's life is all about. And, we've gone so far away from that, although I must say at least we're starting to really see that this is what we need to get back to. So much to a point where once upon a time movement just happened, and now we had to name it something. We had to name it exercise. It's something we have to go out and do. And, I think this is really obviously to make up for quite a sedentary lifestyle that we have now. Some people work on their feet, but many people are on their bottoms all day. And, we really do just need to remember that movement is something that our bodies were made to do. And more importantly, it's not just about the physical aspect. I know we generally think exercise is based on fitness and physique and weight loss, but it's not. It's really about your well-being up here as well, because there's an absolute link between movement and a healthy mindset, and there's been many studies that have been done on this. So I know what it allows you to do, and what they see is that those who make time for exercise have better focus, they perform better in the workplace, they're happier, they're less stressed, they cope with life and challenges a lot better. you know, they digest and have everything moving in the bowel a lot better. Metabolism's a lot better. So for me, you know, I talked about anxiety and having depression. So exercise was something that I really needed to be done every day to help keep me in a good mindset, and still does. If I don't have it, I can see that the effects that it has on me after a day or two. So, you know, all it can take is not feeling too great, but then doing a class or getting out for a walk or a run, and all of a sudden how I was feeling has gone. I've gotten back in charge and back on top of my mindset and my thoughts again. So, you know, it's great for things like anxiety and depression if you do suffer, and it doesn't always have to be something that's full on and go. I like to mix things up. Sometimes I want to run, other times I want to do yoga, sometimes I'll throw in a resistance class or a weights class, sometimes it's just going for a good walk along the river with my dog. But every single day I need to be moving about in a way that was planned. So yes, I might walk about if I go to the shops to grab groceries or have done some errands, but I need to know that I've set time aside specifically that's for me. That's part of my self-care, and that's to make sure I've gotten some good movement in that day. So what have we got there in the chats? Exercise releases endorphins. Absolutely, Laura, it does. And I know, I mean, comment in here if you've ever been having one of those moments and all you've done is gone for some exercise and then you've walked out going, oh, God, I feel human again. You know, so thank you, Carla. I have another Zoom to plug into, but no worries. Thank you, Erin. So I think, you know, even when you're on holidays, for example, no wonder we tend to come back or be on holidays and we can feel a bit sluggish. We tend to not be eating so great and we tend to not exercise. So, you know, I highly recommend just making that something that's a non-negotiable in your day every single day, and notice the benefits for it. Okay, number 8, water. So how many people here have or tended to in the past ever headed for a Panadol or something as such when they've had a headache before? Has anyone ever done that, or a Nurofen? It's been the first thing they've ever gone for. I know that was something that I probably used to do in the past before I was educated. Jamie's written that down. Yeah, absolutely. We're not all heroes. We've all come from somewhere in a journey. And the funny thing is that our body is made of 65 to 70% water. Okay, and our brains are actually made of 70 to 75% water. And your brain is like a sponge. So when it's not getting enough water or hydration, it just means that that sponge is dehydrated. And what comes about that is generally a thumping headache. Now, the kicker is that, as I said, the majority of people will then go and reach for a Panadol and a water and think the Panadol's done the trick, but really it's just the fact that they've drunk the water. So if you have ever done that in the past, I highly recommend skip the Panadol, just drink the water, and you're probably going to be guaranteed those same effects. So water is really crucial for our body and our brain. You know, I've always had a water with me wherever I go. I'm very lucky that even as a kid, I always had a water bottle in my school bag and lunchbox. When I got sent off to dance classes, I had a big bottle with me. And wherever I go, I carry water with me. So I've got no excuses to not be able to have any. You know, I've got a bottle right here with me. Make sure I've got some while I'm on the phone. So on the Zoom. So water is really essential to our well-being. I get very surprised when I come across clients who say they don't like water, simply, as I said, because it's an essential for us. So there are some ways that if water is one of those things that you struggle to have or get bored of the flavour, there are some ways that you can kind of juice it up a little bit. So for me in the mornings, I like to have some lemon, freshly squeezed lemon in my water. It's a really good way of just clearing out the system, helping with toxins, getting that alkaline feel in the body. And then throughout the day, I actually like to have some apple cider vinegar in my water. Does the same sort of trick as lemon juice. And then other things that you can do sometimes that I like to add is different slices of citrus. So that could be lemon, lime, could be orange. Sometimes it's mint. And one of my favourite things to do in the summertime is actually add some cucumber slices in water. So it just adds a bit of flavour, a bit of pep to it, and just makes it something that you are going to want to reach for all the time rather than see it as a chore. And for, you know, the ladies and men on the call, because, hey, guys want to have good skin too. We know that water is essential for good skin health and for hydration. So, you know, I definitely recommend getting at least those, you know, 2 litres or so, if not more, if you exercise, of water, and you'll notice a difference, not only in how you feel in terms of your digestive system, but in terms of how you look and how you think as well. So water is an essential in my day. We've got a few comments in there. Yes, before Juice Plus, I used to have Panadol. David Radden, ever use pink Himalayan salt in your water? Absolutely. Yep, it's really good to do actually too if you're exercising, just to help hold on to the water, especially for long. You know, but if you're doing a running for over an hour, things like hot yoga, for example. Pink Himalayan salt is fantastic for that. How much apple cider vinegar do you add? I suppose it depends on how much, but I generally add about a teaspoon for maybe anywhere between 250 to 500 mils of apple cider vinegar, and then I just keep adding as I finish my water. Just go by what your taste is as well. Obviously, you don't want to add too much in there, but a little goes a long way. So there we go, some suggestions. All right, number 9, me time. Some of you might be on this call, you might be a busy worker, you might be a parent going, what the hell is me time? And are you serious? When do I fit that in? But at the end of the day, me time is so crucial to our health and well-being. And anyone who knows when they haven't been able to fit it in, have you seen the effects that it has on everything else, like the ripple effect that's going on in your life when you're not actually making conscientious time to do things for yourself? Because I know I do. And, you know, let me know that I'm not alone in the chats here. But I'll give you an example. I was blogging about it last week on Friday. I lost my shit. I woke up and I'd lost my shit, and I lost my shit for about a good 4 days, I'd say. And the last day was probably on Monday, and I swear my husband by then was like, whoa. And it was basically due to, A, lack of sleep, which I've not spoken to tonight, but sleep can definitely play an effect. But I just hadn't had any me time. I had been busy between work, moving house, and I hadn't specifically put time aside to do things that I wanted to do for me and relax. So, you know, it's not about being alone. Me time is not just, so I was by myself today, so I had me time. Me time is dedicating that time to doing something for you. That could be a part of your working out. That could be getting outside and spending time with your fur babies or your actual kids. You know, that could be going and getting your nails done. That could be going to the pub and hanging out with your mates. That could be reading a book. That could be getting stuck into, you know, a documentary or a TV show. I'm not ashamed to say that some of my me time is catching up on the Kardashians. Yes, I'm a Kardashian fan. You know why? I like to zone out. I like to have a laugh and a giggle. Makes me feel good about myself. And you know what? It's about turning off from the things that are going on in my head. Do you know what I mean? To turn off from the day and relax. So whatever it is for you, just ensure you pop that in the diary like you would any other appointment. Otherwise, it won't get done. You know, you've got to be able to give back to yourself in order to be able to keep giving back to others. You've got to fill your cup first, okay? So self-care is not selfish, and it's not a dirty or guilty word at all. It's essential to your health and well-being. So, you know, if you value yourself, and you should value yourself and value yourself first above other people, then make the time for that self-care, okay? I really encourage you. So just got some comments there. When the kids go to bed, Laura does flotation tanks once a fortnight. Oh, they're amazing. Isn't that just all women that lose their shit? I should kick you off, David. Yes. Oh, yeah, I've been there. Self-care, exactly. I think women just tend to be worse at self-care than guys. That could just be my opinion. We tend to, I think that's the normal mother nature in us. We're very much givers and want to give and do everything for others and have this idea that, you know, doing anything for ourselves is bad. But I've really come to value that time that I put aside for myself, and it makes me a better coach, it makes me a better wife, it makes me a better sister, a better friend, etc. Okay, so self-care, right. Number 10, connection and relationships. Has anyone ever noticed when we're busy, the first thing we tend to sacrifice is relationships in our life? that's the first thing that tends to go to the side. And we don't know why, because connection is something that as human beings is one of the 6 probably, basic human needs. And Tony Robbins speaks about this. We were born to be connected and feel connected to other people. So, we thrive from company that lifts us up, right? And it fills our hearts, it gives us purpose. Has anyone ever had those moments where you feel like not doing something or seeing someone, but then you're there and you just feel so much better, and all of a sudden you've had a good laugh or you've spent some time with some good people, and it's just made the world of difference to you. So keeping connection with your family, keeping connection with your friends, your colleagues, your network, all those things are essential to our mind and body well-being. For example, my husband and I during the week, our time to definitely connect is over dinner. We've always sat down at the table for dinner and we put the phones aside for those 20 minutes and we talk about how's your day and, what's plans for tomorrow and anything we need to discuss, and we connect for that time, like properly. And we make sure that we set aside a day or a night every week, or if it's on the weekend, that isn't just being in the same room together, but it's essentially actually hanging out, talking, watching something, doing something together. It's not connecting just because you're in the same space as someone, if that makes sense. You've got to be present with them. So, make time to strengthen existing relationships, because very often they can get forgotten when we're busy, and also building new ones. That brings happiness in your life too. Always making way for new relationships is really, really important as well. So connection and relationships, as I said, is essential to our health and our happiness. Okay, the last one that I want to get onto is gratitude. Okay, this is the 11th step that I practice each and every single day. Gratitude used to be something that I thought you'd do when something went right, that you were hoping would, or when something didn't go wrong. I think that's when a lot of people tend to practice gratitude. Does anyone feel that way as well? It's only kind of when we need to. And I thought that's what gratitude was. But then I read a book in 2014 called The Magic by Rhonda Byrne. Has anyone ever heard of The Magic or of Rhonda Byrne before? If you have, please leave a comment in the chat. Rhonda Byrne's actually the author of The Secret. Some of you may have heard of The Secret before. It's quite known worldwide. Oprah, I think when she put it out there, it really boomed it. But that's also fantastic. But The Magic is all about 28 days of practice gratitude, and activities are given basically to practice gratitude in different ways. So as I said, it's about not just saying I'm grateful when something's gone right or when something hasn't gone wrong, but it's finding things in your day each and every day, no matter how big or small, including in any challenges, that you have gratitude for, and finding the gratitude in that. I keep a diary, and I make an effort to write that a few times a week. That's especially my Sunday ritual. I wake up and write my gratitude diary before I head off to yoga, so I'm already giving myself in that really positive headspace. The other things, for example, I learnt these things in the Magic. I fall asleep at night with a rock in my hand, going through my day and saying all the things that I'm grateful for. That could be as simple as I'm grateful for that awesome, cup of tea I had at that cafe today, to as much as I'm grateful for the new client that was, put to me, like whatever it might be. It's just saying that out loud. Other practices that come from that are, I remember there's an activity about be grateful for your bills. Because most people, we get a bill and we're like, oh, another bill, and we whinge about it. But this taught me to turn the mindset and actually write on every single bill, thank you for the money to pay for this bill. Because there are people in the world who will give everything to have a bill to pay. They'd love to have a car bill. They'd love to have a gas bill. You know what I mean? They'd love to have a phone bill. And the fact that we own those things, we need to be grateful for. So practices like that, and just, flipping things in the mindset. What you put out is what you bring about, and you are what you attract. So if you aren't grateful for what you've already got, you can't expect to get more. You can't expect to receive more. You've got to see the gratitude and what's already been given to you, and see that you are already abundant in amazing things. and then you will receive more in return. So I really encourage you to start practicing gratitude, even if that just starts with saying 3 things a day in the morning. Morning's a great time to do some gratitude, obviously, to feel positive, but definitely go to sleep on that. You know, it's a really nice thing to fall asleep on. You know, no matter what's gone in your day, you're keeping that positive mentality in there. And I guarantee you'll be able to find some things in there. So they are really the 11 big basic things, I suppose, or steps that I make an effort to consciously practice each and every single day, and I try and tick all of them off. Sometimes I might miss one, but if I'm consistently thinking of all those things, and you know, maybe at first you have to write them and think about them. They're just a part of who I am and what I practice without thinking twice now. But I know that that is definitely playing a part in what helps me feel consistently healthy and happy. So just before, we've got, you know, a few minutes. If anyone does want to ask any more specific questions that I can answer, Kirsty, I try to focus on gratitude every day. Thank you so much, Carla. Oh, you're welcome. Is there anything that anyone would like to ask? Feel free, if you want me to pop you off on mute, off mute, and you can do it yourself if you like. Give me a couple of minutes. Solutions for struggles sleeping. Okay. All right. So for me, I find that often if there's a lot going on in my head, or if I haven't practiced some of the other things, perhaps I haven't been eating great or haven't exercised that day, I haven't done something to help me relax. So I like to do things such as meditate. I'm not very good at meditating in silence. I actually have an app. You can download all different apps. I think, what's mine called? Mind something. I have to have a look. And I listen to it. It's just something that walks me through. So it helps take my mind off things. I find yoga is really good for not being able to sleep either. Hot showers or baths are really good. Chamomile tea. Definitely. Oh, the app is called it's telling me to take a deep breath. Okay. Take a deep breath. That's another good thing to help you sleep. Long breath in. I think it's 8 seconds in, hold for 7, and then breathe out for as long as you can. And keep doing that in bed. It's just called the Mindfulness app, by the way, in case you want to download that. But yeah, I like to drink herbal teas, and definitely no electronics. Like, I'll get off this call and I will have switched off. That's it. My phone's off for the night now. My computer's off. I switch off from that, and I don't bring them in the bedroom. Or like I'll read a book or do whatever. But I definitely, that's one of the worst things we can do. So as it keeps us alert. Has that given you some good ideas, David? Yeah? Cool. Awesome. Where can I find some info on stretching my body? You know what, like, I tend to find, as I said, like, there's so many things on Google. Like, you can either, you know, if you were to Google stretching and basic exercises, or if there's any, you know, sites you like to follow, or health people in particular, be that like Body and Soul magazine that's in the Sunday Times is often really great for that, and they always have different yoga stretches, for example. You know, maybe you want to look at finding a yoga class near you to help, you know, learn some stretches that then you can take home, because that's definitely where I've gotten a lot of my stuff. You know, while I was just on holidays in Europe recently, I could do my own sort of yoga classes and stretches just based on what I was attending, and I've learnt those things. You know, a foam roller is, as I said, something that you can just buy at a sports store, and I recommend investing in. It's a really good way of just, I guess, rolling out any creases in your body as well. But I think definitely just finding some pictures online, and also getting down to a class, I think, is really, really good. Just a basic yoga class, because sometimes we said we won't do it by ourselves, but if we book in the class to go, we've kind of got no choice but to sit there for that 45 minutes in the hour, or actually do it. Laura, I missed what you were saying about The Magic. Was it a book? Yes, The Magic is a book by, I'll just write it in here, Rhonda Byrne. I think that's how you spell her surname. And it's not a big read. It's one little paragraph or section per day, really, that's going to be talking about the activity that you're doing. But I guarantee you, after 28 days of following that, you notice a shift in the energy around you. You really do. And it's fantastic practices that you can take on board. All right, has anyone else got any questions that they'd like to, welcome Laura, like to ask at all based on any of the things that I shared tonight? Or, you know, if you want to share maybe some triumphs or that you found have helped you using any tools similar to this before, please go ahead and do it. Otherwise, I'll start to wrap this up. Sure, everyone's eager. It's getting late if you're over east, otherwise if you're here. Thank you from David. Thank you, guys. Honestly, I really appreciate you coming on and just doing this alone. As I said, you learn something new every day, even if it's just one thing that you've taken out from this that you can apply. I guarantee it's, again, another step that you can add to your health and your journey to make a difference. And that's exactly what it's all about. It's just simple steps followed on a daily, consistent practice. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us, joining me again tonight. If you want to know more about any of my story or my journey, as I said, you can pop into my website, www.carlathomas.com.au, and also you can hear more about private consults and coaching that I do on there. Obviously, I pop a lot on the Juicy movement for those that are privileged to be on that page via Juice Plus. I like to share on there too and through our community and our events on there. But for any more information, as I said, or to reach out and email me, you can find that on my website, or feel free to private message me on Facebook if you like, and I'll try and answer anything else that may come to mind between now and tomorrow at all. But other than that, thank you again. I really am so grateful for you to have come onto this call, and if you make a difference in your life, then that makes me one very happy person. So thank you, and good night, everybody. I'll pop you all off unmute.